The time has finally come to fit an EV charger. We're still in the market at the moment, but I wanted to get some stuff because I am technically back at work full time as of tomorrow. Today is Bank Holiday Monday. Yesterday was my birthday, so you got to drop a like on the video. Thank you very much. Had a lovely time. Got some new AirPods. Absolutely mint. I bought this last week. It was a 650 quid. I put it on screen. Turned up next day. The reason I've gone for Hypervolt compared to the other ones that I fitted, I just prefer the look of this one compared to all the other ones out there. And I know I've got the Give Energy stuff, and there was potential that I could have even got the Give Energy charger for free. But after fitting the Hypervolt with Matt, I was like, it's it. This is the Home 3 Pro. Going to run through the features that it has, the apps. But the issue I've got, one, it was tipping it down this morning. Gazebo out, all the stuff out, tidy the office. Might as well be. And it stopped raining. But the second thing is, I did the video recently with the 2 all-in-ones, and Ricky was saying to me the way I've got to wire this up is, because it's not the actual Give Energy charger, it won't speak to the Give Energy batteries as it was manufactured in the same place. So what I've got to do is this spare gap here, which had this block in, which was a pain to get out. I've got to put my breaker in there, 2-pole breaker, the ABB, we'll run to that shortly, in there, linked through down to the bottom to make sure it's off the permanent supply that's linked through and not off the battery side, because currently all this is off the battery side, and we don't want that because we don't want the car to be plugged in and instantly drain the batteries, because like you say, it's not the Give Energy, won't talk to it. So I've got to put my own one in, link that through. The issue is, when I did the 2 all-in-ones, if you've seen the video, I replaced this that was in with 2 RCBOs, double pole, got them, they're about £58 each. I've tried and I've tried and I've tried to get one, and I cannot get one. So by the time this comes out, it would have already come out. You'll see me fit it at the end of the video. And I thought, oh, no worries. For the time being, I'll put the C32 that was originally in, even though it needs to be 40 amp, I could just derate the charger slightly, but we're gonna say we've not got EV yet, so it doesn't really matter. Put it in, but that was the same spacing as that. This one, I've got to do exactly the same thing when I get the 2 inverters in. You get your mains in, you got your bypass. This is across the board. You think, oh, brilliant, what a lovely space. It doesn't fit. It's completely against the edge here on the DIN rail. It's completely against the edge on the DIN rail. Even with pushing this over slightly, you don't have room to fit that in. So I won't be making it live today because of this issue. So obviously I need to wait for this to turn up. It doesn't mean I can't mount it on the wall with my lovely Flexi conduit. I'm actually going to pull the gazebo away in a second. So this is 6mm Ultra EV from Doncaster, and it's got the Cat 5 cable within in a 32mm Flexi conduit fed through the wall. Don't pull the edges and stand on the edge of it. Ooh. Right, let's get it open. Template. We love a template. Bracket, that, lid that clicks on, manual, definitely will read that. CT clamp, some screws, holster, plug, yeah, it's called a holster, that sounds way cooler. Was a holster. Look how cool that looks. I like it because of the lights and the customizable on the front, on the side. So this is the 5-meter version. There was a 7-meter and a 10-meter, I think. The 7-meter was an extra 70 quid, and then I think it bumped up another 70 quid for the extra 3 meters. But the fact it's going to be parked in and around here, not a problem. But at some point, before the house is finished, I am running an EV cable into the other side of the driveway. So if I ever have electric van, or I'm here and the other half wants to charge over there, I'm going to put a pillar up. But that's years away. Years and years away. It's always the wrong size. Yes. Easy. Compared to all the other chargers that we go through, it's simple. It's got an inline Vargo. Don't ever say that again. Earth neutral live in. Yep, that's going to confuse me. It's raining already, so I've just confused the hell out of myself. Even though I've done one of these and it was for Matt, I couldn't quite remember what I did because I have slept more than once since then. You've got your CT in, which is normally for most EVs, is you'll get that. But it's also got a LAN RJ45 connector. I thought, right, okay. So, which is fine. I've gone through the instructions and I've had a look online, and I've also spoke to Matt and he's run me through everything. Because I've got two ESSs, energy storage system, don't you worry about that. Just learned that from the book. There's loads of different ways that you can wire it. There's 3 different methods in here. The way I've done it is not the way that they could do it because there's no picture for a gateway in it. It's to do what I was saying, monitoring the energy to making sure you're not sucking it out of the batteries, unless you want to, which I would highly recommend you don't. But all I'm gonna do, because one, my RJ45 crimper is with my friend. The one time I go, oh mate, yeah, I don't need it. You borrow it. He's at work anyway. So at some point I do wanna run a hardwired LAN. It makes no sense for me to do everything I've done at this house the way I've done it and then not put a Wi-Fi connection here. But being in the garage, there's an access point, so I know I've got extremely strong Wi-Fi. And also they put fibre in the road. As of last week when I got told it's minimum 4 to 5 years. So we can say bye-bye to Starlink very soon and get some proper hardwired internet, some fibre. But for the time being, I'm just gonna do CT normally in there. We'll strip it back, leave plenty of slack, and then an update at some point when I decide to. I can take the front off, LAN it up, because you've got to splice the connection. You take 2 cables out of the cat cable, you do the rest. I think you snip 2 off and then you do the rest in, so it's got internet connection, but then the 2 that jump off do the CT, and everyone's happy. Okay, I'm glad I've cleared that up, confused myself. We're gonna be doing some rear entry, and also we're gonna be putting the car charger on the wall. Beautiful, loads of space here. Normally it would be a 25mm, and if it was just the flex that was out the wall, I would invert the stuffing gland in here, so we've only got a little tiny locking nut in the back, which is nicely hidden, and then the main bulk on this side. But some absolute prat put 32mm conduit on, and I know the glands for this are this big at least. So this is a 20mm one, and that is a 32mm one. Can you imagine? So if I was to put that on there, well, I'd then have to have the circumference of this, I would have to knock out the wall for it to sit flush. But I'm happy to cut the flex, to be fair, I say cut it, I can push the flexi back up, I can seal around the flexi, obviously I'm going to trim it back so it sits nicely, and then I can just do a stuffer. And then there's the other annoying thing about electrics, 2 25mm stuffing glands. That's your normal 25mm stuffing gland. There's also a 25mm stuffing gland. Right, okay, and this isn't a 32, completely different holes. Yeah. Right, I figured out from the last video doing the outside lighting that it wasn't working properly, but you've got to get the hammer and the rotation. So what I was doing is doing it on hammer drill, but it wasn't doing it, but you've got to push down or pre-engage like that for it to work. So yeah, but other than that, it's really light and I really like it. So this is what I was saying earlier. So I've heat shrinked it and heat shrinked it again. Yes, double heat shrink. Anyway, we've got 1 pair for the CT and then the rest of them we can put on an RJ45 into here at another point. But I've left a hideous amount of length on it. No, to obviously adapt this at some point, but for the time being, for today, I'm going to plug that in, I'm going to put the lid on, and then at some point when I get a car, well, to be fair, at some point when I manage to get a breaker, which you'll see at the end of the video, we'll get it working, we'll get it singing, we'll get it dancing, we'll get all the lovely colours on. And how many times I have put car chargers together and forgot to put the fly lead on. Fly lead, link lead. Yeah, let's go. I bet it looks like when you change your tyre, I'm going around doing like opposite screws. I don't know either. The older I'm getting, the more I'm realising how weird I am. Bit of self-reflection. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Bob said it's fine anyway. And then for the lid, you've got four side screws to go in. And these threaded bolts. These nipples, it's a technical term, don't worry about it. Meet up with indented nipples and clicks on. I don't have to speak to them. I'm going to have to speak to Hypervolt. I want more of a click. If I can give anyone advice, I'm no EV specialist. We know that. I've done a fair few of them. I enjoy it. I think I'm good at it. But any bit of advice I can give to you with holsters. Most of the holsters on other brands that I've fitted, they stick out the wall. Literally, you could just walk into it and snap it off. At least with these ones, why I do like these ones, it is more angled down instead of that, which other chargers are, is to fit this, put it in, wrap it one way, see how it looks, wrap it the other way, see how it looks, and then you can fit the holster to what you have already wrapped, rather than me putting it down here and realizing that whichever way you wrap it, you've got a spare meter of cable loop below, or it's a bit too tight. But this way, I know if I wrap it this way around, that's anti-clock. If I wrap it anti-clockwise from the beginning, keep it tight, I know I can put that in that brick. I'll have a bit of slack here, not bending too much. It will come in and out of the holster quite easily, and it looks neat and tidy like that, rather than having a horrible loop that shouldn't be there. I think that's the one thing I've always liked about, is it the Anderson one, or what was Anderson before the stuff happened with the company, is the internal wrap. That was very cool, and they look very nice, but not as nice as Hypervolt. Right, we're sitting at 2 and a bit weeks later. I didn't think it would take this long to get it sorted, but I've got the breaker. I'll run to that stuff in a bit. There's one thing that I wanted to do with the Hypervolt, which I know I was faffing around with the RJ45 before, and the CT1 and then the CT2. I've got more of an understanding now. I've done a bit more research. I was going to put solar on the house. From the beginning of this video, that was always the intention. And as of right now, the solar is done. It's all filmed. I've got hours worth of footage, breaking stuff down from costings, going through to, I did it in 2 days, how it looks, how many panels there are, I'm capped up to discharge back to the grid, all that sort of lovely stuff. But there's one thing with the Hypervolt. So to my knowledge, the Hypervolt Home Pro 3 has the second CT now for ESS, for energy storage systems. If the batteries are full, you don't want to be charging the car from the batteries, because it's not good for the batteries equally as well. Like a car, let's say it's got a 70 kilowatt battery, and most people would have around about 10 to 15 kilowatts worth of battery storage. It isn't really making a dent. And if you've got solar panels, you want to make sure the solar is going to the car and it's not trying to charge from the batteries. So this is what CT2 is for. So what I've had to do, and annoyingly, with all of this, what did I say, £650, it doesn't come with a second green CT plug. Work that out. Come Hypervolt, if you ever get the chance to watch this, that is ridiculous. The cost of you could probably buy that in or manufacture it for, which would be ½ Put 2 of them in the box, please, because I've just had to drive around for an hour to go and pick one up, because lo and behold, no local wholesalers in Stafford stock it. So I had to go and tap up Matt Williams to go, Matt, have you got a spare one? Luckily he did. But because I don't need to use the wide LAN, because we've got an access point 3 meters away, your CT1, you've got your CT2, you've got your 2 pairs, and I'll run you now to the gateway. So here's a little sneak peek of what's to come up. So we've got our CTs going in. I am redressing this whole thing, so please don't. Had to get stuff in for the time being. I'm changing the colour of this to brown so it matches in. I've linked through. This is my new RCBO that if I waited 2 weeks for it to turn up, 100 and whatever pound it was, ridiculous. These are my 2 solar ones. Like I'm saying, I'm redoing it. But that's the clamp that you get for your CT1. And my problem is because I've got 2 batteries in parallel. Apparently what the norm is obviously the 2 batteries then go into a separate DB. You then put that CT clamp on the supply cable running through. But because I've got a gateway, I don't have that, so I end up having 2 lives. So what I don't know if this is working yet. Like I say, still haven't got an EV, but I'm trying it through the Hypervolt app to see if it's working. Is I've just linked through both live cables, and people could be watching this and going, "That is ridiculous. You can't do that. That won't work." I've researched everything online and I cannot find the answer for this question, other than speaking to Hypervolt earlier, and the lovely lady on the phone went, yeah, absolutely fine, yeah, cool. I don't think she was quite understanding what I was saying, but anyway. But then the next issue I've had is I'm currently waiting for a call back from Octopus. So currently I have got the 2 batteries linked up with Octopus Energy. We're on the Agile app, which I didn't realise, and I'm not sure if I said at the beginning of this video, they take control of your batteries. So no matter what setting we turn around and change, it will change back within seconds their end, because they will turn around and alter it so the batteries work off best for what they link it up with. But I've gone on the Octopus, so this is live, so I could create the app and do all that lovely stuff. But I go onto Octopus Energy, I try and add device, it comes up with a QR code, scan the QR code on this. Well, there isn't one, and it doesn't come down with a drop down. So I've gone on Google and it turns around, everyone's saying that you can only add 1 device, which is the batteries, or your air source heat pump, or whatever, that you can't add 2 devices. So I've rang them up. The lady's really nice, she's gone through it all. She says, I don't quite know, let me ring someone tech spec wise that's going to come back to me to then probably change me over to the intelligent tariff, or whatever it's called. But I'll report back in a little bit when she rings me back and I have some more knowledge. But I'd rather deal with all this myself and the aggro than let you guys know on this and go, oh yeah, do this, it's much easier, Nick said. And just like that, one, I'm wearing the same vest, apologies, I've looked back at the footage I took. We're now end of August, so I fitted the charger around April, around my birthday, so happy belated birthday to me. So subscribe if you haven't already, awesome. What it is, obviously I'm trying to backlog, trying to get to the stuff, I've been busy, you know this from my old video. The Hypervolt has been great. It looks nice, it's performed well, but what I was getting to with the Octopus stuff is the few issues I've found that I've encountered over the past couple of months, which is actually good for you guys because you can see it's not doing a video on the day and then letting you know from my opinion straight away, is that Octopus, once they take over a device like Hypervolt, you can no longer really use the Hypervolt app. You then use it in the Octopus app. And let's say you bring the electric car back during the day, you've only got a few miles, you can set a scheduled charge, so you do the 7p per kilowatt hour in the evening between, I think it's like 11:30 and 5 in the morning, which works really well with the solar panels. I'm not really paying anything for charging the car up because I've got the batteries. I've set it so the batteries don't discharge into the cars, I don't want it to do that. But the money that you make during the day, where you're saving on electricity that we would normally use in the house, is sort of paying for the car and somewhat, if that makes sense. But you can't boost charge. So, you know, when you come home, you want to plug it in and boost. The Octopus app won't let you do it. It's a thing called bump charge, and it sort of trickle charges it, boosts it, trickles, boosts it, and I find it very irritating. And what the lady was trying to get out on the phone, which took about 3 weeks, and eventually I rang them back, you can only activate 1 device through Octopus and have 1 device at a time. So when you go on it, if you already got something linked up, let's say the charger, and I want to do the air source because that's on it as well, it says, it comes up with a thing saying scan the QR code of your device. Well, there isn't one, and you can't do it, but you're only allowed 1 device. It might change in the future, and it means, obviously I'm running at 7p per kilowatt hour on the Intelligent Octopus in the evening for the charger, but that also means I can charge the batteries up if they're not fully charged throughout the day on the 7p. And the air source to heat the water tank in the evening also is 7p, which is really, really nice. But I want to control the charger through the Hypervolt app because that makes more sense to me. And now this is an apology to Zappy. I'll tell you where I am in a minute. It's not like a dungeon thing. Could be. I've got like a thing that you can slide backwards and forwards. Anyway, is when I went to CEF Live, I bumped into people at Zappy. They had a chat with me. They had the new Glow coming out and were like, can you fit one on the video? Not getting paid for it, they just sent it me for free. Be honest with everyone how it works in some situations, and they did. They sent me one. And it's still in the box because I have just not got around to doing it. But what I'm going to do with this is I'm not taking off the Hypervolt, I'm not turning into Jordan, I'm not going to ruin the outside of my house and change and chop chargers constantly, ruin the brick, is I want two. And they're not to be used at the same time. I'm going to probably wire this an unorthodox way, that was a good word, write that down, is because they both go back to the gateway. It's another pet peeve of mine is unless you have a Give Energy charger and plug it into the gateway, you can't control it through the app, you can't see it through the app, it doesn't come up as a separate entity as a third-party EV charger, it just doesn't exist, which is very annoying, but you want it as a whole ecosystem, so it sort of makes you buy their one, but I don't like the look of their one, that's why I didn't get it. Is I'm going to piggyback that together in the breaker in the gateway. You could do it through a contact where only one works and the other. I'll have a play when I get to that. We've only got one EV, so it's not an issue. It just means I put one in front of the garage where it is currently, where we can use it to charge. But if my van's in the way, or currently like the scaffold because the extension's going on, you sort of can't really use it, you've got to move stuff around. So I want to put it on the other side of the house. So I've already ran a cable, so that video will come out soon. So that's the Zappi. So all in all, Hypervolt, can't complain. It's a great charger, it looks nice, it's worked well. So if you're looking in the market to get one of them, great. But obviously we're going to have a play with this one and see how that works, how it looks, how it fits. It's meant to be like the simplest thing to set up in the world, as in you scan it and boop, boop, boop. But I've already got a few qualms of the way it looks and the design, but I've been told by My Energy I can say what I want, when I want, how I want. Well, I suppose there's limits and boundaries, but to be honest and do a genuine review for you guys. And last but not least, focus. Get there in a second. Traderfy has been an absolutely staple to my diet, running the business past couple of years. I have got several people I need to get back to through inquiries, me being engrossed in what I'm doing here, sort of neglecting the paperwork side of things and phone calls, but we're getting back on it. I need the money. Through my website, I've got a link that I can click onto through my Traderfy that they can fill out their customer details, name, address, email address, telephone number, a brief description of the work that they want doing at their house. They can attach pictures. So for me, when you guys know in the past have sent me rewired quotes through Traderfy, who've seen me on YouTube, they've already sent me a house plan, a link to the house that they've bought through Rightmove or whatever, a Zoopla. I've got pictures of what they want, where they want. I've had people doing floor plans with X's for double sockets, spotlights, and it makes my life loads easier and makes your job better because you get for what you want rather than me going, we can do this, we can do that. With Traderfy, it's a 14-day free trial or 30% off for the first 3 months. Link down below, go check it out. But here, right now, because now I actually own a bit of land, which is lovely to say. People like Traderfy, you guys watching this has helped me really benefit my family time and time again, and it's just awesome. But it's 7 o'clock in the morning, so I need to be a bit quiet. So I don't have a shed yet at home, and we're not doing the garden yet. So I swapped some wheels with the builder, and this is my shipping container. So it's sort of here temporary, it's going to be moved back down, but it's not a normal shipping container, it's a AC refrigerated one, hence the movable slidey thing that I've angle grinded loads of stuff off, because it would have like a separate door section that closes to separate sections. Done most of the cladding, ran out of wood, that's where it is, cut off the AC unit, blocked that up. We've got power in here currently and internet, we've got security stuff, so at some point this is going to get moved to the bottom of the garden, which is all the way down there. Once I get around next year to landscaping, new fences, new this, new that, trying to still buy the garden off the guy next door, but it's planned to be a bit more difficult than we first thought. But there's loads of stuff going in here, and the cool thing is, the person that used to own the container before, the builder that I got it off, was my old PE teacher, and I think this is the container that he had in lockdown when they had it as an inside gym, which is cool. You'll see the Zappi Glow being fitted very soon. Fingers crossed at some point. I'll let you know how we get on with that. Love you, bye.